I guess it was Nick Shirley that did the online documentary that was kind of self-produced about the rampant fraud in the state of Minnesota. One of the things that we saw in that was within the Somalian community, there are a lot of childcare centers, air quotes, including the early learing center that we learned about, where there was a lot of state and federal money that was going to entities that did not appear to be doing anything related to what they claimed to be doing. He used the word over and over and over and over, fraud, fraud, fraud. We're trying to uncover fraud. That's kind of been the drumbeat that you've marched to in your time as the state auditor's office. Is there anything to be concerned about in Mississippi that is comparable to some of what we have seen in Minnesota and some other places?
Well, look, back in 2023, I testified before Congress, and I told them that all of these programs nationwide were vulnerable to fraud and were broken. So, we'd seen some fraud here in Mississippi involving nonprofits. It was really bad. And I said the evidence that we've taken from that case is that this is going to happen in other forms in other places. And so, lo and behold, in Minnesota, you get billions of dollars worth of possible fraud involving big grant dollars going to these child care centers, which are sometimes nonprofits, sometimes for-profit child care centers. So a few months ago, even before the Minnesota case bubbled up, we started looking at Mississippi child care centers and how we fund those as taxpayers. And what we found is nowhere near the level of fraud that you would see or have seen in Minnesota, but we see the same sorts of problems with the programs. So there's just not sufficient attention being paid to actually taking attendance at these centers and making sure that these kids are showing up every day rather than just pushing the money out the door for how many kids the centers say are on the rolls. There's not enough attention being paid to whether the kids are actually learning anything or learing anything in these centers. I mean, that's the big concern is, are there kids showing up and are they getting something out of this? Because that's what we're paying for as taxpayers. So we've done now one report on child care centers and dollars going toward them. We're releasing another one this week. And the bottom line to me is that, if you're running state government, you've got to be watching these dollars. You've got to be eliminating the waste and demanding more from the child care centers. But big picture, Congress is going to have to tighten up the rules around these federal dollars that flow down to these centers and put a stop to all this at the spigot. That's the real answer.